Good morning and welcome to the Tom Brokaw News Center here at Universal City. I'm Conan Nolan. Thanks for joining us. Well, we have two new candidates for governor of California this week. Tech billionaire and climate change activist Tom Steyer, who ran for president in 2024. He announced his campaign for governor in an online video.
Tackle the cost of living crisis or get the hell out of the way.
Then on Thursday, it was Bay Area Congressman Eric Swalwell who also announced for governor. He, too, ran for president at one point. He announced his candidacy on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
I came here tonight, Jimmy, to tell you and your audience that I'm running to be the next governor of California.
The two join a crowded field with one potential candidate still to announce, that being businessman and philanthropist Rick Caruso. The next governor will face a multitude of problems in the state, one of which may be yet another fight with the Trump administration, which this last week announced that it will go ahead with the sale of numerous oil drilling sites along the California coast from San Diego to the Bay Area. Members of Congress have already lined up to fight the move, including Congressman Mike Levin, who represents parts of Orange County. Congressman, was this a surprise?
Well, yes and no, Conan. You know, during the first Trump administration, I had a number of meetings with the Department of Interior and the then secretary, and I conveyed to him that my constituents along 50 miles of beautiful California coast, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, overwhelmingly did not want offshore drilling along the California coast, simply because there isn't that much oil to be had given the potential environmental risk and economic risk in the event of a spill. And the first Trump administration threatened, but ultimately we were able to make it through those 4 years. And I had hoped that perhaps the administration would again recognize the cost-benefit analysis of drilling off the California coast, understand that it's really a drop in the bucket, wouldn't really drive energy prices down at all. By their own admission, the oil companies admit that. There simply isn't enough potential supply along the California coast to have any meaningful impact on fuel prices. And that, again, they would perhaps threaten but not ultimately move forward. That they have decided to do it reinforces to me, Conan, that Trump 2.0 is reckless and really holds a grudge against California, even worse than they did in the first Trump administration. We're going to fight back against this with everything we have.
Interior Secretary Doug Burgum says this is about energy independence, good jobs. Western States Oil Petroleum Association say that whatever is pumped in California is used in California, and we use a lot of oil in this state.
There's such a minimal amount of oil available, Conan, that even the oil companies will tell you that it's going to be 10 years or more before they would get much of anything. And even then, oil is a global commodity, as you know, driven by global commodity prices. And the amount you could produce off the California coast is inconsequential and would do nothing to lower gas prices for the average Californian. This is all about sticking it to California, and it's about doing whatever the fossil fuel industry wants and making those oil executives happy. And that's where the administration's priorities are. If they really wanted to reduce energy costs, they wouldn't be kneecapping clean energy, which is the cheapest form of energy.
And can the Interior Department go ahead with this without approval from Congress?
Well, my answer under normal circumstances with a normal administration that actually understood constitutional checks and balances would be no, that Congress would need to work in good faith across party lines to try to actually stand up as we are supposed to under Article 1 to both authorize programs and appropriate funds, including those funds as used by the Department of Interior. But this administration doesn't care about Congress, and Mike Johnson, unfortunately, Conan, I think is the weakest speaker we've ever had. The other week, the president said he was both the speaker and the president, and sadly, I think he's telling the truth about that, because Mike Johnson seems unwilling to stand up for Article 1 or for the Constitution. He's so fixated on avoiding the same fate that Kevin McCarthy experienced, so fixated on staying as the speaker in title that he's willing to give up the power that comes with it. So as a result, this administration is going to do what they're going to do. We're going to have to fight them with not only legislation, but litigation and ultimately communication. What I will tell you is that in my community, I represent a number of cities. Some of them are run by Republicans, some of them are run by Democrats. And what I hear overwhelmingly is that the risk of a spill, such as we experienced in Orange County, and you were there with us in 2021 when it was a relatively small spill, but the havoc that that created for our coastal tourism and recreation, which is tens of billions of dollars a year for the California economy, it simply is not worth it, because the question is not if there will be spills, it's when. And when there are spills, it's simply not worth it for us as Californians. And we don't want it. Overwhelmingly, my constituents of both parties say no drilling off our coast.
So your best hope is to win a majority in Congress next year.
Well, we're going to do everything we can to win in every way that we can. And until then, we're going to try to enjoin. You know, obviously the legal system needs to play a role in all of this. We'll try to fight very hard in whatever way we can. I'm currently on, I think, around 20 amicus briefs fighting the Trump administration on a variety of things. I'm more than willing to join more of them if it means preventing offshore drilling along the coast of California. And just the same, we're going to communicate with everybody we can. I'm behind the legislation to ban drilling along the Southern California coast, and I'm going to go to every city I can to try to get support from Republicans and Democrats, just as we have in the past, with great success. Virtually every city, as I mentioned, including cities run by Republicans along the coast, recognize the economic and environmental harm that this would create, the economic harm far outweighing any economic benefit, and have said, we don't want this. We don't want to see drill rigs off the coast.
Congressman Mike Levin represents parts of Orange County and San Diego County. Thanks for taking the time.